It has been 3 years since I've had to make a video like this, but it is time again to remind everybody and bring these kind of things to light. Because back in the day, in about 2018, I made a video calling out false advertising for mobile games, specifically because this was during the biggest build-up for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, a game at the time that I was covering religiously. And I'd see every single day on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, some adverts for a mobile game that would use footage from Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. Now this video did pretty well, and I think it actually made a bit of a difference, as I'll get onto a little bit later. Two of the biggest perpetrators at the time were two mobile games, War Colony and War and Order. Every single day you'd load onto a social media and you'd see an awesome new looking game that'd be advertised. You'd look at the title and it'd be called War and Order. This looks fantastic. Then you'd see the gameplay and wait, that's not War and Order, that's Age of Empires, that's Mount & Blade. What's going on here? And of course it would just be your typical scummy mobile false advertising. But why is this an issue? Well, you see, there are laws against false advertising, of misleading people into tricking others to downloading a game for your financial and monetary profit. As well, using a smaller game title could be very detrimental to that real-life physical PC game. If someone sees a game like Age of Empires being advertised as a terrible mobile ripoff that is full of pay-to-win and spammy adverts, this could harm the sales of Age of Empires itself on PC, because it's been associated with something that it is not. Some of the main PC games that I covered in my previous video and that these mobile gaming companies focus on are the games that I talk about on this channel. The big medieval battles, the strategy games, the historical titles. I've seen things like War of Rights being used, which is strange since that's a more modern title. We've seen pretty much every Total War game under the sun being used as some sort of knockoff mobile game ad. Mount & Blade titles, not just Bannerlord but Warband, and I think I've seen the original as well. Men of War has also been used to promote World War II terrible shooters on your phone, and the ones that I see nearly all the time are Age of Empires and Cossacks. Both very similar strategy games with real-time building, farming, infrastructure, growing your colony, and eventually your empire. Going into battles, and it's these battles that are used to promote these mobile games. And of course, quite rightly, this made me and a lot of people that I saw commenting on that video very angry. But then it went even further. You see, not only were game trailers being stolen, not only were these game companies going recording games that weren't their mobile project and then promoting it as their mobile project, but then they started using footage that wasn't theirs. Not only is the game not theirs, but they were taking footage from YouTubers that had made, of course, videos like me on this platform on something like Total War or Mount & Blade, and then ripping off that footage and putting it on a mobile ad. Pixelated Apollo, I think, was one of the biggest victims for this. He made a video in about 2017 on the same issue. His footage that he was using in Napoleon Total War was being taken. I think another one is Diplex Heated, who did a lot of Men of War stuff that was also being taken and putting on mobile ads. So it's ramping up. Not only are these mobile ads affecting the games that they're stealing footage from and shilling off as their own, but now they're affecting smaller YouTubers that most likely won't have any sort of legal kickback because the financial implications of that are massive. It's almost helpless. So what happened with this? Well, in 2018, some action was actually taken. You could almost call it a bit of a win for not only the PC games that were being stolen, but also the YouTubers. Kings of Avalon, I'm sure, is a mobile game that you've seen everywhere. It's once again looks like absolute trash. Can I just put in a little bit of a tangent here? If you play mobile games, that's absolutely fine. But mobile games as a general thing, you know, the ones that you see advertised, the ones that companies put out for free and then cram pack it with microtransactions, they are all terrible. And it is so damaging to mobile game developers that actually make decent ideas with unique mechanics and some amazing content. Because there is good stuff out there, but it's the Facebook mums or the kids on their dad's iPad that click download on these terrible pay-to-win games that then start spamming gems everywhere with their parents' credit cards to get as far ahead as possible from their friends. That's what pushes them up to the top, completely drowning the actual decent mobile games. And it's all a direct consequence of these false ads. The problem is, and the irony is, me and of course most people watching this video can see one of those ads and you can instantly know that that is not the game. But the child that is sitting in the restaurant and has been told to play on the iPad is scrolling up and down and seeing these awesome Total War battles or Mount & Blade medieval sieges and thinking, I want to play that and download a game that has nothing to do with any of that. And that's the issue. It's hard to make a video that will make a big difference since the audience that cause these problems don't watch my videos. But going back to Kings of Avalon, they posted many tweets and pictures promoting their game. Of course, saying go download Kings of Avalon, but their posts promoting it didn't have Kings of Avalon. It had another game. And of course, it was Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, a small screenshot. Now, I would love to show you this screenshot, but of course I can't because it's been wiped from the internet at this point. But after years of this happening, finally somebody stepped in. The UK Advertising Standards Authority told Kings of Avalon to take down all the advertising that wasn't for their game, and of course they were forced to change it. They stated how this is obviously misleading people to think that their game is Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, whereas it is nothing like that IP whatsoever. It was deemed as false advertising, and that was a massive win. And since then, it's been quite quiet. I don't know if you've noticed, or it might just be me not being on social media as much in the last few years, but there are less and less mobile ads popping up with stolen footage. They all seem to have these pre-rendered trailers now that are, yes, of course, very CGI and sometimes called gameplay, but in terms of actually stealing footage from other games, it seems to have died down a bit. And I put it down to one of the biggest game devs in Kings of Avalon getting told off. They were threatened by the UK Advertising Standards Authority and they were spooked. And everybody else, all the smaller mobile game companies, went on the down low. So you might be asking, why am I making this video now? Why am I following up on it? Because it doesn't seem to be much of an issue anymore. Well, unfortunately, they're back. Kings of Avalon is still sticking in their corner. They've already been told off. I doubt they will come back the same way, but I've been seeing ads popping up in the last few weeks of Rise of Empires, Ice and Fire. They seem to be the main perpetrators at this point, using once again Bannerlord footage to advertise their game. Not only this, but if you actually check the App Store, all the screenshots seem to advertising it on their official App Store exactly like Age of Empires. Now, don't get me wrong, they probably made these screenshots themselves and not just taken screenshots in Age of Empires itself. But you can even see by the reviews how people said they were misled, thinking that it looked like Age of Empires from screenshots, and then they got into the game and it was nothing like Age of Empires. The textures, the assets, the look of the game, the feel, this had gone for a while, but now it is coming back. Unless we do something about it right now, before it starts spreading to more and more mobile ads, it's gonna go back to the way it was. It's gonna go back to every single advertisement from terrible, scummy companies pretending that their game is something that it's not. It's gonna be a flood of microtransactions and free-to-play games that tell you they have the biggest medieval battles on a mobile device. So what can be done? Well, it's hard. Videos like this and people that have a platform that can talk about this is fantastic to do. But if you are watching this video, there is something you can do. Not only can you report them to any of the right people, such as false advertising authorities wherever you are, but of course you can click report. Facebook and Instagram and pretty much any social media have a report button, and one of the main things that you can do is report it for false advertising or flagging, even false information. And whilst it feels like you're not doing much, if enough people do it, it will work. So if you're watching this video, and if this pisses you off as much as it pisses me off, please go out every time you see a game that has stolen footage, a screenshot, even assets from something that they don't own, please make sure you report it, because it harms so many different people. Not only does it harm other mobile game developers for making their platform look terrible and scummy, but it also harms PC game developers whose footage is being stolen, but also YouTubers whose videos are being stolen and uploaded somewhere else for, of course, massive amounts of profit. Furthermore, it also goes more indirectly to real people that download free-to-play games for being falsely misled, paying money thinking that they're getting an experience that really they've just been tricked into getting. Of course, with Kings of Avalon, the UK Standards Authority was able to get into there and get a win, but because this is such a massive issue, it can't be done with everything. People have got to stop promoting these games. This is not me saying all mobile games are terrible, that you should never play a mobile game or never enjoy or give good reviews to a mobile game. This is to do solely with the advertising, with the posts that are put up that aren't true, that are falsely misleading and damaging so many different groups of people. So please, this is to you guys. Go out and do your thing. Report back to me with the good news. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, leave a dislike if you didn't. But until then, I will see you in the next one.